I want something that can grow. And also, I want to see a comparable example of what I want to get to. So take, for instance, shoes. You know the old adage, don't look at their lips, look at their feet. I'm taking this literally. I'm literally looking at my children's feet. I'm asking, what do they want? What are the things? And when I hear my daughter saying, oh, I got to get these Uggs and they're short supply and, you know, there's all these bidding wars. Okay, here's the thing. If you take a thing like Uggs, this is a growth company because it's at the highest multiple against the comps. It's almost at a 30 multiple. It's growing very fast because it's doing everything right. What is it doing right? Well, between Uggs and it's these tennis shoes, they're not for me, but they're called Hokas and stuff like that. They're selling direct to consumer. In fact, last year, and by the way, the stock is Decker. Don't look for UGG on your quote machine.
Yeah, Deck.
So Decker owns Uggs. Deck, half of everything comes from Uggs. They had a 40% increase in direct to consumer. So when I say direct to consumer, when a Wall Streeter hears that, they say, oh my Lord, I want direct to consumer because it means maximum profit margins. You can't get any better than direct to consumer. You don't want to be selling everything through third parties on Amazon and get your clock cleaned. So not only doing that, but the kids love them. They're selling out. They've actually made some comments last quarter, Decker, that we're still having to play catch up just getting this stuff here. And what the young kids like, that's what I'm all about. Now, let's stop. Let's say you don't want to pay a 30 multiple. Let's say you think, I want something cheap. I'm looking for a 50-cent dollar. There's nothing wrong with that because, again, if Decker can't continue on with the Uggs magic, I think they will. That's just my opinion. That multiple's coming down.
Well, that's kind of what I wonder.
Disappoints in any way.
Is it because it kind of reminds me a little bit of another stock that you like a couple of years ago? Crocs was going vertical like this, going nuts. Then all of a sudden, it was like all the discount stores were overloaded with Crocs. Stock got hit.
Yeah. So let's look at Ugg. I mean, let's look at Crocs. Crocs has a bigger issue than the oversupply of shoes. They have this thing called Hey Dude shoes. It's a quarter of their revenue. Hey Dude is the footwear version of a Ford Taurus, meaning for people who gave up on their dreams. I got a pair, I tried them. I felt very much like a sad dad in the biggest way, and the product's not any good. So there's a quarter of the revenue that to me, it's meaningless. Every time they say they made $1, it's 75 cents to me. That's why they're trading at a 9 multiple and maybe 10% revenue growth. But Crocs, they could make $1 billion of revenue this year. So what are they doing to improving? They're at a 9 multiple. Remember, Decker's at a 28. First of all, they said Crocs are improving on direct to consumer. It was up almost 20% last year. Oh, excellent. That sounds like Uggs. Furthermore, they said this whole plan about competing on price, this is ridiculous. We want to get our ASP, code word, average sales price. Wall Streeters love these little acronyms. We want to get our average sales price up, and we want to stop competing on price. Now, could that hurt short term? Well, it did last year. Is that going to help longer term? Yes, it will. So if I can get a place like Crocs, I know 25% is worthless. Get rid of Hey Dude. Don't worry about them having it. Just don't put it in your numbers. Just pretend it doesn't exist and then do your math. So if they can start doing more direct to consumers, my kids love them. In fact, in their management notes last quarter, they said, you know what? Kids seem to like these Crocs. It's like, oh, really? Duh, Sherlock. And they said, we should really focus on kid stuff. It's like, you should, because kids love these silly little shoes. They like to, it's going back to your roots. So if they can be a quarter or half as good on direct-to-consumer penetration as Decker is with their brands. You may not get a 28 multiple, but could you go to a 9 to a 14 multiple, which is the average in the category? Yes. What would that do to the stock? It'd get you from 100 to 140. That's a 40% upside. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily in my numbers, even though it is. But when you look at these value companies, you've got to say, are you mimicking, and did the CEO get the memo from the guy who's doing a better job at executing down the street? And then instead of trying to get from a 9 to a 28, just say, can they do a quarter better? Can they at least show signs of life? That's how you play value. Stop having such huge expectations. Just see how you're going to go from here to there. And then as we go quarter from quarter on Crocs, I want to see them making progress. Remember Peter Lynch. If the story's not getting better, hit the bricks. I'm gone. I'll find something else. I'll put my money in an index fund.